Hey, how are you? It's cold here, about 30 degrees. I'm backing out of the driveway at home, getting ready to head to Stanford, Kentucky. Yeah, that's my seatbelt alarm. Don't worry about that. We've had quite a bit of rain. I don't know, 3 to 5 inches, depending on where you live, over the last couple of days. You've probably seen the news, a lot of flooding in eastern Kentucky. Not good. People are suffering, especially in this cold that's going to follow. We're going to get down into the single digits at night by Tuesday or Wednesday. Maybe sub-zero with wind chills. Who knows? I'm heading here through, I'll probably go the back way to Stanford. We're about 17 miles away from Walmart. I need to get some yogurt and bananas for my mother. I can't keep my 90-year-old mother in yogurt and bananas. Last night I put a pound bag of pinto beans in the crock pot with some onions, a little bit of seasoning. We're vegetarians, so I don't put any meat in there, no ham, something like that. I can put some bacon bits or something else, a little smoky flavoring if I want to do that, but generally I don't. We like to eat the beans with cornbread, and I'll make some of that when I get home. Use the good old yellow Martha White cornmeal. I make that with, I put it in a cast iron skillet, heat up the skillet, and then pour the batter in. Put it in the oven for, I don't know, 20 to 25 minutes, depending on your oven. We got a gas oven. Comes out pretty good. I mix a little bit of flour in with my cornmeal. Of course, I think most everybody does. I should turn this camera the other way. I just passed a low bridge here, and I can see a lot of wood debris that came down the creek along the way. I'm on 1781 right now, heading towards Chapel Gap up the top of the hill, and then I'll cut across the back way through Ottenheim. Ottenheim is an old German community here in Lincoln County, Kentucky. There are many Amish here now that came into the community probably around 1995 from Delaware and Michigan and Indiana, various places. The initial move was from Delaware, several families, I think, Byler's, Detweilers. I drove for the Amish for about 6 years. I don't do that anymore, staying home, taking care of my mother. When I get up here, I'll switch over. You won't be able to see my wonderful face for a little bit. I'll switch the camera out to a road view, and you can get along the drive. Oh, there's nobody coming. Let me do that now. Okay, I'm back. That new building you see across here from the little intersection, that's the new Chapel Gap Church, and there's the old one right there. Sorry that you're going to be seeing so much of my dashboard, but that's just the way the camera mount works at the moment. Let me hit you a wide angle. That doesn't help any. Okay, we'll go back to normal view. This place on the right is what, Hummingbird Acres, I suppose. We just passed there. It's Larry Miller's place, took over from his dad, Sam Miller. It's an Amish business, landscaping. Not a landscaping business, landscaping plants. I see there's a new house going up there. That's new to me. I haven't been this way for a while. This is dangerous here. Right here in this gully, right here in this bottom, Sam Miller was coming from the other way, and the guy come up around this hill and curved real fast, hit him in the back of his cart. Two horses. Horses went forwards. The cart came up. I pulled over the side of the road here. In the driveway. Let me get going. My camera cut off for some reason. I hope that I'm not short on storage space. I should. I don't know. I've probably got 15, 16 gig left on my camera storage. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, the brick house up here on the right is, well, there's a little school. That was a little schoolhouse, Amish schoolhouse on the right, and then the brick farm here with all the logs in front. This is Junior Yoder. Junior has a machine shop, does a lot of welding. If it's a small job, Junior will do it for you for free. He's a really good guy. He loves to weld, but I don't do that. I always try to give him something if we have to. I don't have a lot of welding jobs lately, but done a little work for me in the past. Again, this is Broughtontown, Kentucky, if you're just checking in. We just passed that last mile there through where most of the Amish live in Broughtontown. As we get out here, if you go out 1948, you'll see that intersection coming up. There's a few families out there. I want to say at least 4 as I think of it. Yeah, you think I'd put my seatbelt on, wouldn't you, with that dinging going on there? My sisters will say something about it for sure. This will give my friends and maybe some of my distant family a little bit of idea, again, of the countryside here. This is south central Kentucky, Lincoln County. We're about an hour and 15 minutes below Lexington, Kentucky. If you were coming down I-75 from here, we're probably maybe 20 miles or so off of I-75, Mount Vernon exit, Renfro Valley. Okay, 1948. If we were to go left, again, a few Amish families there. We're heading right. There's some standing water in the road. I guess that corner was flooded. You can see a little smattering of snow. It came down a little heavy this morning, somewhere between 8 and 9 o'clock, but it didn't stick, really. The ground is still pretty warm, even though the temperature dropped quite a few degrees this morning, from in the low 50s into the 30s. I think my heater fan has gone off. When that happens, I have to stop the car and restart it. Something in the resistor there it's kind of common in these GMC and Chevrolets for the fans as they get older to draw too much juice. And I've replaced the resistor in this before, but it's getting time, I think, to replace the fan. I thought I had in this put a new fan motor in here, but anyway, I'm going to have to stop here at this next drive. And fortunately, the heat comes back on, the blower comes back on when I stop and restart the car, little SUV. Yep. There it comes back on. Okay. If you want to know the model and the problem I'm having here with, it's a 2008, I believe. Yeah, 2008 GMC Envoy, the Denali package. I got it used secondhand from a fellow that buys wrecks, David Hammond's, out on 39 South going towards Somerset. He's been out there for years. I've bought, I don't know, I guess this is my third vehicle from David. He buys wrecks, rebuilds them. They're never put back to new. You're getting it as is, and there'll be little glitches with some of them. I had a 2006 Silverado Chevy, which I've given to my daughter since. But it did me good. I put well over 100,000 miles on it. And probably closer to 200,000. I did have more major problems with a dually. I had a Silverado crew cab dually, diesel, crank broke in that engine, and replaced it with another engine, and the crank broke with that. So I don't know if I was hauling too heavy of loads. I don't know. Maybe it was something in the way I was driving, stressing the crank, the way I was braking. I don't know. But that cost me some money. I ended up selling it back to David, and he put another engine in it. If you've come to the channel for some spiritual food, I can offer something to you, what I've been thinking about yesterday, today especially with regard to the book of Revelation. I've been spending a lot of time in prophecy. I see they got a little more snow here. No, at least it's stuck. Anyway, the opening line of the book of Revelation is the revelation of Jesus Christ. A very simple phrase, descriptive. Revelation means apocalypse. That's the Greek word for revelation, apocalypse. As you know, apocalypse, the word has last day meanings, cataclysmic, earth-ending meaning, the apocalypse. And those things are contained in the book of Revelation, in John's visions. But the actual word simply means revelation, an unveiling. So it is the apocalypse of Jesus Christ. And the revealing has to do with events future after his ascension back to heaven, his inauguration as our high priest in heaven, sitting at the right hand of the Father. You can read that in 4 and 5 of Revelation. What I want to say is that there's a question we don't generally ask. Some do, of course, but a major question isn't what is happening next in terms of Revelation, as if the prophecy were simply a fortune-telling book. Theology is the study of God, and the revelation of Jesus Christ is a according into the Greek construction of that sentence with the genitive, the word of. Being of Jesus Christ is from him and about him. In theology, we call the person and work of Christ Christology. And if you take an emphasis of Christology, among other things, into last day events, you see that the primary emphasis, what you should be drawing from the book of Revelation, and not my opinion, it's what the text itself brings out, especially the first chapter. What is this telling me about Jesus Christ? And what I learn about Jesus from the book of Revelation is through his acts. It tells us what he has done, what he is doing, and what he will do in the future. We know God through his benefits and through his actions. But more basic is the simple description of his name, Jesus Christ. It's a revelation of Jesus Christ. It's a revelation of Jesus, which means Savior, and of Christ, which means Messiah. We say Jesus Christ as if Christ was his surname, and it was not. Properly, it should be Jesus the Christ, Jesus the Messiah. So right there we have some information. It's a revelation from the Savior, and a revelation from the Savior who is the Messiah, Yahweh who came in the flesh, Yahweh of the Old Testament, who took flesh to dwell among us. The book of Revelation came around 90 AD, somewhere in there, the late first century. About 50 years after Jesus ascended. 40, 50 years after Jesus ascended back to heaven. In those intervening years, you've got the New Testament letters, Paul and John the Apostle and others that were written. So that the church, by the time you have the book of Revelation, these 7 churches, it's written to 7 churches in Asia Minor, what we know as Asia Minor today, beginning at Ephesus. These churches have a very broad and, dare I say, deep knowledge of who Jesus is and what Jesus does, what the Father has done in, through, and as Jesus Christ, who is the only mediator between God and humanity. The book of Revelation opens up in the few verses after the beginning, I think around verse 7 through 7, 8, and 9, in symbolic form mentioning the Holy Spirit as well as God the Father and Jesus, the Trinity. You could almost divide Revelation up into the first half, the largely historical portion of the visions, as acts of the Trinity, and the last half as acts of the counterfeit Trinity, which Satan brings forward as the dragon, the beast, and the land beast, the sea beast, which is later called the false prophet, imitating the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It's about the deceptions of the devil and God's counteracting them, his sovereignty in heaven and earth. Heaven and earth. Some thoughts there as you go into the book of Revelation. Ask yourself the question, what is this telling me about Jesus? Why is he saying these things? Why is he saying them now? What does he want me to know? Not simply about the future, but the future that he holds in his hand. His sovereignty in relationship to our free will. If you look at the first chapter, its principal character is Jesus, the glorified Christ, as he appears holding the churches, messengers of the churches in his hands, symbolized by 7 stars, walking among the 7 candlesticks, which is the light of the Holy Spirit, burning bright in the churches. And then he gives a counsel to those 7 churches. I'm on Highway 27, by the way. Behind me would be Somerset. Ahead of me is Stanford, Kentucky. So that's our theology lesson for the day. If you got that far in the video, I'm spending much of my days in the book of Revelation. coming on top of years of study in it, which does not make me an expert. I am still a novice. The deeper you go, the grander the vistas are, the broader the horizon, the greater the depth of truth. You cannot exhaust the mine of God's gold, God's truth. Heaven is a ceaseless approaching unto God. And throughout eternity, should we live in eternity, if we keep our covenant with Him, we will enjoy a never-ending story, a never-ending reality of who He is. And again, who He is revealed in Jesus. Jesus said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. That is, He is the way to the Father, the truth about the Father, and He is the very life from the Father, which includes the truth about the atonement, how our sins are atoned for, and that we are brought back into conformity to His image. How we learned the way of God, His good intentions for us from the time of creation. Yeah, I've got a lot of memories of these areas. I'm going to keep at this until we get in here through Stanford, so that those of you who don't know can have a little view of Stanford. See the water tower there in the foreground ahead of me, going down a little bit of a hill. Not the main intersection of town here, but the first one that we come to, the first light, a traffic light coming into Stanford, Kentucky. It's a green light. I have to look and be very careful. As you know, and in my last video, I was wearing an eye patch. I'm not wearing it now. But for those who are new to the channel, I have retina damage in my right eye, and my left eye is not all that great because of a floater. I only make these town trips. I try not to drive too much. Sometimes I might be home for a couple weeks at a time. Our adopted grandson, Patrick, making any smaller trips like this, but he was up late last night. He was asleep when I left on the couch. Got to get my mother some yogurt and some bananas. Yeah, so 2 lights now we've gone through. We're coming up to the main intersection. There's some fast food joints on the right. There's a little shopping center there on the left. The old Walmart used to be in that shopping center back when it was small. There's a vendor's mall there, like a peddler's mall, an indoor flea market's what it is. I hope the heater fan noise isn't too bad. I've got the noise reduction down on my microphone here. I've got it on, not down. So hopefully the road noise and the microphone isn't too distracting on the audio. They added some 2-lane here. This is construction over the last couple of years, and this is right here. We're on new blacktop. Well, new to us. It's been completed for quite a while now, but this road goes on to Lancaster, Kentucky, and the plan is eventually it would be 2 lanes both ways, but that system, less than a half a mile ahead, goes back down to 2 lanes each way. Here we are to Wally's World, Walmart. If you're wondering, regular gasoline is $2.68 here. And I think back at the 5-star was probably $269. They stay pretty close to each other. I see there they're getting a load of gas in now. This is not a large Walmart. The larger one would be another 10 miles or so on in Danville, Kentucky. It's a Sunday, cold out. How busy it is, I don't know. We'll see. There's quite a few cars in the lot. I'll have to park and walk on up, I guess. It's getting a little snow flurries here, windy. Wind is about, hey, I got a spot right here. What about that, close to the front? I don't know if you saw that guy or not. He's walking into the store with a tank top on. Seems a little crazy to me. Okay, back to me now. And I want to put my bag down here. I got my bag and some audio stuff here. I'm going to get warm in the store, so just a minute. I'm going to take my jacket off here. Got some long johns underwear. I got a top here, keep them a little warmer. So I'm gonna get out and head into the store. I'll. My microphone. Yeah, I'm gonna head in the store. I don't know if you got that last part or not. So we'll have a walk up to the store, and yeah, I don't know if I'll do a lot of filming inside the store. I think you've all probably seen a Walmart. You know what that looks like. But we'll just do the walk up to it, and then I'll stop the video. And whether or not I give you any more on this, I don't know. We'll see. So let's turn the car off. And sorry for all that dinging, all that noise. Okay, let's go in. So I'll turn it around when we do that. Let's lock my door here. Okay. Yeah, so you can see there's a good bit here. I'm gonna walk up to the store. We'll get in. Yeah. So we'll look both ways. Hey. All right, when I get in here, I don't want to take pictures of a lot of the people, so yeah. I think that'll be it for me for now. Okay, I'm back in the car. I think maybe 30 minutes or less. It wouldn't take me so long as that, but listen, I guess where is my seat belt? We'll stop the dinging. Meant to be, eh? Okay, there we are. I won't be thrown clear, but I guess I'll take my chances. Yeah, I was going through the line and putting my things on the conveyor belt there with the familiar checkout lady. We've had a few conversations about her diabetic brother and my diabetes and so on. Things you chat about at Walmart. Anyway, the lid was off one of the yogurts, and it had the the foil underneath that lid had been pierced, and I didn't realize that, and so they went and got me another one. I don't know if somebody had a taste of the yogurt or whatever, but the foil had been pierced, and I didn't want to have that. Let's switch it back around here, and I thought that I could do that. I was able to do that earlier. Anyway, yeah, we'll get into, well, I'm just sitting in traffic here, sitting at the light right now. You've seen traffic and you've seen traffic lights. I'm at the intersection here of 27 and 150 in Stanford, Kentucky. Big intersection. Big is relative to the size of the town here in Stanford. It's really cold, really cold. The wind chill was, cutting right through me. Let's switch over to a traffic view here. Okay, so here we are. Like I said, the corner of 150 and 27. 27 South goes to Somerset, 27 North goes to Lexington, through Lancaster, Nicholasville, and 150 West goes to Danville. 150 East, which we're turning on now, would take you directly to I-75 at the Mount Vernon, Renfro Valley exit. We even have a Taco Bell in Stanford, and it's not all that old. Here comes Zippy on the right. Yeah, he's got to squeeze in there. Mobile home park, not park, but sales lot went in recently. Stanford keeps developing here and there. Veterans Park on the left. Since we are doing a tour, and perhaps this would interest you, depending on who you are, I'll show you the stockyards here, where cattle, goats, sheep are auctioned. I don't believe, in fact, I'm sure that they don't do horses here. I would know that for sure, because the Amish do go to horse auctions, and there's nary ever been one here that I can know of. But this is also the Southern States Farm Supply driveway. This is a dead end, this is not a road. Go up through here and we'll get a shot of the stockyards. Good size place. As you can see, you can drive all the way around the back, and I'm not going to do that. But this parking lot, empty now, would be, I don't know, on a good day, it's maybe half full. I've never seen it completely full. I've brought cattle here before for the Amish, buying and selling. If you're in the South, you'd be familiar with Southern States Farm Supply. Don't know if that was worth the little side trip for you, but there we are. My seatbelt was covering the microphone, but I think you could probably hear me. I just now moved it. Maybe I better adjust this microphone in case that happens again. I don't know if there was no sound or not. Let's see. Sorry for any scratchy noises here. Okay. Little readjustment. Instead of going directly back 150, I'm going to cross 150 here, which is going to take me to old 150, the old road. When I was living here in, I first came in 82, and right on up into the 90s, this was the old road to Stanford. Curvy and never really super congested, but it wasn't ideal for tractor trailer traffic. On the right here is the old Southern States, by the way. They still use that for storage. Warner Fertilizer coming up on the right. This little cabinet shop used to be there. But here's Warner Fertilizer. Patrick worked there for, I don't know, a year maybe or so. He would repair the fertilizer buggies or welding and doing some other things. As you see along here, you get a view of Kentucky housing. New trailer going in there on the remodel, maybe, I don't know. This is just a short section. You see the creek is high there, by the way. This is a short section of old 150. The way we would always come to Stanford. Made a number of trips this way on my motorcycle when I used to ride. I was never what you would call a biker, but I rode every day back in the day. That was in the early 90s to mid 90s. Suzuki 750E, E being an electric start. It had been set up for a drag bike. By drag bike, I mean just a different sprocket, maybe some tuning on the engine, whatever, but it was fairly worn when I got it. I ended up taking it to Collegedale outside of Chattanooga with me when I went back to study theology. That would have been 1997. Okay, now we're back on 150 as if we were heading to Mount Vernon. There's Tin Man Metals back there on the right. Metal roofing, metal buildings. So this is the way, if I were wanting to save a little time, this is the way I come back and forth from Stanford. From my place in Broughtontown to Stanford, going this way is between 16 and 17 miles, depending on how you come from Broughtontown. Whether you come 39 or 1743. Woo-wee, going 75, that's a little fast. Speed limit's 55 here, but they give you 65. They wouldn't give me 75. Not too long after I moved here, I had a minivan. Air conditioner was out, and I'd left the slide door open coming in, and I was catching a breeze at about 70 miles an hour on a very hot summer day. Highway patrol pulled me over, and he was a kind and friendly young fella because he let me go on that. He just said to slow down a little bit, but he understood about the heat on the day, and so I appreciated that. I'll cut off here because I'm running out of words. I know you don't need a commentary on the whole drive. There's nothing spectacular on this. This is pretty much how it goes the rest of the way. Although I think I'll do a little detour and stop at Cedar Creek Lake and let you see that. So I'll pick up with that in a few minutes. Okay, we're coming up onto Cedar Creek Lake. You'll see a little bit of it on the right. We're getting ready to cross the dam. I'll pull down into the parking lot after we cross the lake here. Not much of a view of it. But we'll go over in the parking lot. There's no boats. It's a cold, cold day. The parking lot is empty over there. On the other side, there's an access road to the boat ramp, parking lot. On the left, there's an indoor gun range, Cedar Creek Sportsman Club. They hold some events there. I think they sponsor a large regional dog training day. I don't know, hunting day, bird dogs. I've seen them do that like once a year. If you know more about that, put it in the comments. Yeah, add the comments to anything that talking off the cuff here, I may put out some wrong information. And you may need to correct me, especially if you're local. I think I'll go back and add a introductory video. I'll piece all these together. It's going to be a little longer than I first imagined. So yeah, we're coming in here. Now this is a dead end road. It comes into the boat dock. Yeah, it's cold. I had to get back inside. And for some reason, my video cut off again. I don't know what it was, but it sure did. Let me get my seatbelt back on here so we don't do all the dinging. Yeah, this lake that I just showed you, they have tournaments here. I can't remember what the limits are, catch limits. It's mostly bluegill, bass, of course, tournament fishing, crappie, pretty popular. And I'm sure there's catfish too. I don't know that it's known to be a catfishing spot, but could be. I'm not a fisherman, so, I don't know. Again, I've carried Amish quite a bit to different lakes, different places fishing. Lake Linville over in Mount Vernon is very, very popular. They stock white bass over there, and you can catch a lot when the lake's been stocked. But okay, I'm going to turn this camera around now, and we'll do a little more driving in the countryside and show you the sights. Okay, we're back, still at the lake. I'm going to head down out of the parking lot, and you'll get a better view of the boat ramp there. If you're a fisherman, this interests you. Like I say, it's a popular lake. It's not so much a recreational lake. There are limits on what can be put out here in terms of boats. I think you could put a pontoon out, but it's primarily fishing. It prioritizes the fishermen here. It does have a couple, one portage on there, porta potty, here by the boat ramp. Yeah, it's well maintained. And as I say, this is boat ramp number 1. Boat ramp number 2 is a little bit smaller, and smaller still number 3. This is the largest in terms of parking. The others are not very far away. It's like I say, it's a 700-acre lake, so it doesn't take long to get around it. I'll I'll pull down in here to another fishing spot that people use to fish from the bank. You can also trek through the woods a little bit at another spot just down here. Enter only, it says. Well, I've done both here. Yeah, this is the main bank fishing access, easy access. Like I say, you can walk through the woods at various points. You can tell by the waves on the water that it is. Can you see that there? Yeah, there's some movement. It's windy. This area right here is pretty popular for bank fishing. They're just a very small little cove to the left there. The water is certainly high, by the way. The water is up. It's never really low here that I can remember, but the water's up from the 4 or 5 inches of rain we've had. Again, this is another place that I've stopped and just to sit. Sometimes I've brought something to eat just to watch the water on a pleasant day. Yeah, a guided tour for the fishermen. Come on here. This takes us back over to old 150, part of it, which ends in the water. Right here's a driveway. I guess no harm in pulling in. A little cul-de-sac here. There's 2 trails, one to the right, one to the left, where you can again walk back to do bank fishing through the woods. It's I don't know, it's less than 200 feet, I think, to the water from here. You would have to go pretty far back in my videos, but I've done a video off that bank with water in the back. If you see water in the background in any of my videos, it's Cedar Creek Lake generally. I did something from Wolf Creek down in Jamestown, Kentucky, Wolf Creek Dam, but most everything is from Cedar Creek Lake. Over the last 4 years, I guess we're going into 5 years since I've been playing on YouTube. We're not in real back country Kentucky here. You know that when you're on gravel and then you're on dirt. We're in a South Central's fairly populated. Doesn't mean there aren't any backwaters, back roads. There are for sure. There's a car parked up here and on the right. This is where 150 dead ends into the lake, and I don't know. You see how high the water's crossed the road here at some point. Yeah, the fellow there, I don't know. I don't see any fishing poles, but maybe he did. Maybe he's just checking it out. Yeah, Florida license plate. So who knows what he was looking for. Again, this is part of the old 150 that we were on earlier in Stanford. My memories have faded for all the time I spent driving these roads. If we went to the right there, we would go back to the William Whitley house on William Whitley Road. It used to be gravel. I've got a friend, a family that I think a lot of. Leon and Leon. We call him Leon. We call it Leon. It's spelled Leon Yoder. I'm going to pull into his driveway here. He's got a tack shop, stable. He's got some new blacktop I see coming here. Anyway, this is the farm on the hill. Let's see if I can zoom a little bit more. Yeah, you get a better view of it up there. I lived here a few years. 10 power might be too much. Oh, there it is. There's the house. Okay. You don't know it, Leon, but I'm filming you. There's the horse barn. Below are the stables. It's a 2-story business. But yeah, they've had a son that's I don't know how old Thomas is now. I guess Thomas is probably going on 7. I don't think he's 8. They've had a real scare with Thomas with cancer. And I can't tell you what he's been through. They ended up taking him. They were able to get into Shriners down in Memphis. 800-mile trip. Countless hours on the road, back and forth, in fact, I think they still go down there every 2 weeks. Follow-up treatments. They did that for a year. And so far, he's survived through great suffering. For him, as a little child, and for his mother. During that time, she went through a pregnancy, had another child. She stayed in Memphis with Thomas, and his father would go back and forth to keep working, to keep the business going here, which they needed very much. 800-mile trip. Drivers probably, some give a discount in situations like that, but I know that the drivers need to make their living. It's right now, it's about 80 cents to $1 a mile, depending on who you get. Maybe find somebody cheaper who are doing a long haul, but 1,600-mile round trip at 75, 80 cents a mile, if they were able to get it that cheap, would be, you can imagine that's expensive. And to do that at least every 2 weeks for a year, that cost came out of their pocket. The Amish hold charity auctions on Friday evenings to pay hospital bills and so on for those that are selected out of the community who need that help. It's very easy to run up bills of 50, 60, 70,000, 100,000, 150,000 when you don't have insurance. The hospitals work with the Amish. They're always good to pay. They pay their bills. So they set up plans for them, and with charitable giving from the community. Everybody makes it, seems to. I've been through Crab Orchard before, but I'm going to spin through there again. For those that haven't seen the other videos, I know that some local folks, they like it. They've said so and comment on the previous video. Yeah, I said 643. I gave the wrong name for that road. I gave 1783. It's 643 that goes back to Broughtontown from my house here. A Crab Orchard sign. Welcome to Crab Orchard. So this is coming into the outskirts of Crab Orchard from 150. Last time I didn't go down any neighborhood roads. Let's go, I'll cut down through I see there's standing water quite a few places. There's different communities here in Crab Orchard. It's not a wealthy community. You know, I said I got the population wrong last time, and what did I say? I think I put it too high. Let's go with 700 to 800. And if I got it wrong again, correct me in the comments. So we'll go back this way, and somebody's building there. I won't go into a lot of detail, but I attended back in the day when I was still addicted, attended a pretty wild party in a house along these neighborhoods, in this neighborhood here. Several times at that house, guns were drawn, either because we were getting a little wild or buying and selling, and people would get paranoid. Guy felt he needed to lay his 9mm on the table for me one day. I didn't appreciate that. He wasn't threatening me with just letting me know. He didn't know what he was doing. We didn't hold it against him, but it rankled me a little bit. Of course, I was carrying a gun too, but I didn't let him know. Yeah, back in the day, I bootlegged a little bit, and a little marijuana, a little cocaine. We're going back again 30 years ago. Please don't arrest me. It was small time stuff. This is Dye House Farm Supply. Yeah, you see the flooding there, the water still standing in the ditch, not much drainage there. Crab Orchard. If we took a left, well, let's do it. Let's do the little left turn here. There's Wildcat Garage. Used to be Lester Bryant's years ago. Post office on the right. Crab Orchard Primary Care Clinic. Yeah, new liquor store on the right, which I don't have much to do with. I'm sure that hurt any bootleggers when we went wet here. It's been a dry county for all those years I was here. That's how you could make money, going to Richmond and buying retail. You could buy retail whiskey and beer and almost double your money when you came back. I would sell out of that parking lot there where the Wildcat Garage is. Kept the main supply out of town. Yeah, I'm not glorying in those days. Those are things to my shame. I think I said in my last video, I had a near miss coming down through here, drinking on my motorcycle, and got all the way down to turn around the parking lot down here, what used to be Lonnie Pruitt's Ready Mart. He sold it since then, recently actually, but retired. But the sparks flew up from my kickstand as I turned into the parking lot. And could have been a death, my death. I'll give you a little more local history, my local history. This is Old 39 Road right here, okay, that runs behind the store. And as you can see, it's been blocked off. Well, if you were to look straight out over there into the road, a little bit of the distance where that car is going, it shot straight across there. There was a bridge, and there was train tracks under that bridge. I had come down 39 on a friend's Kawasaki 1000. He just had it tuned. Here's Dollar General, bank, auto parts, by the way, everything here, Crab Orchard. Scrapyard over there, recycling. Family Dollar, Dollar Tree. So this is the new road. Not new to us here, but that viaduct came over and over the train tracks. I had come down on this road, and you'll see the straightaway up here. I'd got his bike up to 130, and to this day, that's the fastest that I've ever been on a motorcycle. But I was coming this way, as if you're coming into the camera, and when I come up over that bridge, I was still doing almost 100, and there was a tire laying in the road and a flat that had come off a flatbed truck, which was straddling the line. And yeah, I was zipping down this straightaway, coming back into Crab Orchard, showing off. Guys were in the parking lot back there. They said they could hear me gearing the bike, and then they saw what happened. I come over that bridge and locked it up. Everything goes into slow motion at that point. It's almost like a dreamscape, no sound. I was in a slide, upright. The back end started to come around to meet the front. I was halfway there. And I saw an opening between the truck and the guardrail. I let off the brakes. That straightened up the bike, and I shot around. Without doing that, I would have slid under the truck. If not died, certainly injured badly. But if I'd hit that truck chest high, it would have cut me in half. So that was my adventure. I'd become a Christian 2 weeks earlier than that. I felt very ashamed showing off and being presumptuous, risking my life like that. God protected me, thankfully, by grace. I apologize to my friend. I'm trying to think of his name right now. Said, I guess you won't let me ride that anymore. They could see what happened on the bridge and everything. He said, no, we all thought you were dead, man. He said, if you can do that, if you can pull that off, you can ride anytime you like. And again, nothing to brag or boast about. It was the grace of God that gave me the wherewithal to get between that truck and the guardrail. And, but we're on 39 now, as I mentioned. It's through the area we just passed Turkeytown area, what we call the knobs, 2 hills that looked like big knobs, sharp hills, steep, not tall. So we're coming through the curves here. In real bad weather, when we get ice, when we get real snowy weather, especially if you're hauling a load, this little hill, it's not a big hill, it's got some incline to it as we go up here in a curve. It can get a little dicey when the road is real slick. They keep it salted. They take pretty good care of it. But immediately after an ice storm or snowstorm, you really got to watch coming down this. Well, you got to watch going up. If you lose traction, your load started to slip. I've been behind big trucks when they stopped on a hill like this, braked, and then just the weight would cause them to slip back down. It's pretty scary if you're behind a semi when that happens. So we're up on the top now. Do you want to go across Mike Jenton Road? Let's do that. Instead of going on up to Dog Walk, we'll come across Mike Jenton Road here. This takes us back over to Chapel Gap, into that church where the video, part of the video began. I'm taking you down this road to show you the Mennonite grocery. It's a salvage type grocery, scratch and dent. They sell past date items. It started out just as this little building here. By little, I mean this little gray one. They moved that up here and then added this little warehouse section. It's got a big freezer inside. They used to be down the road and they didn't have quite as much storage. Now these are Mennonites, not Amish. They drive, they dress similar to Amish, but there's a difference. The men don't wear beards. They're all clean shaven. The Amish here all wear beards, it's required, but no mustache. I know I won't get into all the Amish traditions. They're a little odd for the English or anybody who are not Amish. There's a man lives down this road. Again, a little local knowledge. Don't want to gossip about him, really. I met him, nice fellow. He's had several Russian wives, and things just didn't work out for him, the marriages. He kept trying. He told me a little bit of his story. I don't think he's a big secret to anybody. I thought it was interesting. Mail order brides, if you will. Got a nice place back in there. He did a little driving for the Amish too at one time. I was driving Leon Kramer at the time. Amish seamless gutter business. Lester became a good friend, still is. He works with his brother Danny Kramer now, building. He still does seamless gutter, but on the weekends. I highly recommend him if you're local and you need it. Seamless gutter, or if you need any building, they do good work. I don't know if you saw that farm. When I just turned that corner, there was a farm there, had the blue barn back there, blue roof, tarp covered hoop barn. That's where the Mennonite grocery used to be, down that lane. This is an Amish family here on the right. I'm pretty sure the last name's Miller. Never really driven them. I've talked to them. I've taken others there. It's just a few years old, the place, the blue roofs. Young couple. 30-somethings, I guess. I think he has a building crew, either works on one or runs one. Mike Jenton Road. Related to the Jenton family, Melissa. She was a Jenton. Her husband Terry. They live in Florida now. Her father Arthur. Her mother Gertrude. They had we'll see part of it. 250-acre farm up here. They moved to Florida some years ago. Terry and Melissa, well, the whole family. Some flooding. They were good friends, still are friends of mine. We don't stay in touch a lot, a little bit through Facebook. When I piece all these videos together, it's going to be a long one. I don't know, we might get an hour and a half out of this. A little travel log in Lincoln County, Kentucky. So we're coming back here to 643. By the way, I see the sign 2.5 miles back. That was Shady Lane Variety. Discount groceries. Yoder's homestyle jam, frozen baked goods, meats and dairy. Discount means, again, some sell by dates. Some stuff is fresh. They buy salvage grocery. Great place to get cheap food. Every once in a while, a semi will cut this corner too short. Get down in that ditch. Tractor trailers. So, okay, we're coming back to where we started from. This is Chapel Gap. We didn't go down Chapel Gap Hill. That Jenton comes out at the top of that. But here again, the new and the old Chapel Gap Church. So we're heading home here. And the area, Bratcher's owns what we just passed there on the right, the feed store guy. This is a Mennonite farm. I'll swerve over here. Yeah, Mennonite farm you see there on the left. And on the right, and I'll pull in here, there's a large Quonset building where Arthur Jr., back in there, used to have a combination apartment and machine shop. And this is the Jenton land, part of a 250-acre farm. I believe the Jentons still own it. I think that they lease some of it, maybe rent. I don't know. The Quonset building, there is a shop in there the fellow runs. Can't remember his name. I've only been in there once. Again, if you know the comment, those of you who are local, and put it in the comments. Any corrections on figures, numbers, people that you need to make. I'm just shooting from memory here. I don't know what I mentioned in my last drive-through video. You've got to watch for deer here. There's several deer crossings on this road. Sometimes you'll come around this curve here or down this hill, but especially right in here, they may be standing in the middle of the road. There may be a doe and a couple fawns. Sometimes you'll see a buck. There's a holler in there, and they come up through the woods. It's safe land for them on the Jenton farm. I think a few people, one or two, may be allowed to hunt that. I don't know. But this is a deer country here. White-tailed deer. I think during hunting season, 70 to 90,000 are shot in Kentucky in a year's time. Not something I like to think about. Jenton's place there on the right. Melissa and Terry live there. Somebody's in it now. This road floods. This right here, this low bridge. It's not low. But I can see that it flooded this time. There's a lot of debris around in the fields. So it's flooded over the last 2 days. This is the road that comes into Broughtontown. When I get up here, I'll swing through the Broughtontown Community Center parking lot. Half a mile from home. It's going on 9 years that I've lived here since I came back. I left in '96. Went to Romania, got a degree in theology in England, had remarried, whole different part of my life story. Yeah, this is 1781 we're on. This goes back out to 27, which would then take you either back to Stanford or to south to Somerset. Don't know what's going on up here. There's a few vehicles in the parking lot. This white building is the volunteer fire department in Broughtontown. I see the fire chief's car is there, and some others. Maybe that's, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why they're. This is the old school, which is now the Broughtontown Community Center. Boy's coming out with a basketball. Somebody's probably rented the gym. They do that. And play some basketball. They have Friday evening meals here. I think they start around 5 or 6 o'clock. Broughtontown Community Center's on Facebook. You could get a menu there. Sometimes they have fish fries. Little Broughtontown. You're seeing all of it, really. And I'm probably going to show you something part of it that I'm not too proud of myself. But there's Artie Armstrong's place. That's my nephew, Artie. My stepbrother's son. He's home from work today. He's a big fisherman, catfish. He's one of the best catfish fishermen that I know, and I don't say that lightly. This first one this year was 21.5 blue catfish a week or so ago. Okay, we're pulling into our driveway here now. And normally I don't like to show this, but this is our junk. And maybe I'll explain it, and I'm not going to lay it all on Patrick, but we can't get everything in the garage. Patrick does repair work on his vehicles. We've got more stuff than we can store. There's our old washer there. There's a, on the left there's a grill that he bought and is never used. That truck still runs, but it's piled full of old parts and junk. We're going to have a clear out should the time come to sell this house. Of course, we'll have an auction, get rid of what we can. I'll call a junk man in and get rid of much of it. It's common here for those of us who are poor to just pile our stuff outside. You can see my neighbor, old mowers and so on up there to the right behind their building. He built that little garage, wood stove pipe coming out. He works on his car quite a bit. Nice young fellow. That's me here at home. You've been on the drive. Hope you've appreciated it. I've got some groceries to get out of the back. I got maybe 4 or 5 bags. Let's see, it's 10 after 4. Surely my mother is up by now. She was in bed when I left a couple hours ago. And we'll get her some yogurt and bananas, whatever she wants to eat. Like I said, I got a big pot of pinto beans that have cooked overnight in the slow cooker. And I'm going in and make some cornbread. So God bless you. Thanks for staying with me, and I hope you've enjoyed the visit. I hope you enjoyed the drive.